Bring, 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 bring. Hi guys, does that sound, I kind of wanted to make that sound like a phone ringing. Did that sound like a phone ringing? Um, Trying to make it sound like a phone ringing anyway. Hi guys, this is Shadow Girl Sherry. I wanted to do something a little bit different tonight. I'm looking at some of the stuff that's popped up on my phone right now. I haven't been on in a little bit, so I apologize. But again, hi guys, this is Shadow Girl Sherry. Have not been on. It, I haven't went live in maybe a little bit over a week now. I've had some kind of unexpected things pop up and all that. So I got to kind of get back into the swing of things. Got to get back into the swing of things. And that kind of rhymes with ring, ring. And I'm hoping that when you look at this, the picture that I've put up tonight, you can tell what it says. But anyhow, let me jump right into the video. Usually when I come on TikTok, I say I'm clocking into TikTok. But I wanted to change things up just a little bit. I've clocked into TikTok, but again, I wanted to change it up just a little bit tonight and make it seem more like a phone ringing. And I hope that you can look at the picture that I have up, and you can look at it and you can tell, what basically what the puzzle is, if I can call it a puzzle. But guys, again, this is Shadow Girl Sherry. If you've watched any of my other videos, then you may have already seen some of my other videos where I have, you may already know that I have a different way in writing things up. I don't just write things. I have a tendency to do paperwork, and when I do paperwork, I don't write things out in the normal way that you would normally see it. When I do my paperwork, or when I do art or anything like that, any kind of drawing, writing anything up, anything like that, I write it out in a different kind of a way. And guys, I just got to really kind of just get into this a little bit again, because I haven't been on in a little bit. Again, I got to apologize. I haven't been on in about a week. But guys, when I really started getting in my channel, Sunset Songs, let me tell you a little bit about that again, because again, I haven't been on in a while. My channel, Sunset Songs, is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction. If you are watching this video now, if you are tuning into this live right now, you most likely already know what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction is the idea that like attracts like. Through your positive or negative thinking and so on and so forth, you are attracting the such back into your life. If you are thinking, it's so said through the law of attraction, if you are thinking negative thoughts, constantly doing negative things, hanging out with negative people, putting negative things out, I think you get what I'm saying, then through the law of attraction, you would be attracting negative back into your life. But if you are doing positive things, hanging out with positive people, doing positive things, that kind of thing, then you would be attracting the positive into your life. And guys, I want to go ahead and say this right now. I think usually when I pop on, when I come on, when I have done most of my videos, I just notice something. Guys, we are in Mercury retrograde right now. If you're watching this, if you are into the law of attraction, if you have watched any of my other videos, if this has popped up on your For You page just for the first time, whatever, this is your first time hearing my voice, I've popped up on your For You page, you may already know, again, what the law of attraction is, but you may already know what Mercury retrograde is. Right now, we are in Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is basically, I should have wrote it down a little bit before I got on, but basically, it's really like an am I saying it right? Optical illusion. It's an illusion, but it has to do with the planet Mercury. And when Mercury goes retrograde, it's so said to have an effect on communication. It can, it's known to cause some chaos. You got to kind of ground yourself. It causes chaos. It causes problems with communication. Technology goes a little haywire. You might be said to be like experiencing more glitches with anything that has to do with technology. Your thoughts might be mixed up. Communicating with people, anything that deals with communication, computers, your phone, any kind of technology. It's so said that you should watch for, you know, if you're going to send an email or if you're going to send anything out, you're going to send a message to somebody, you know, double check things before you just send it out. Make sure that, you know, and it's so said that you shouldn't be careful about signing like contracts and documents and things like that because things are known to go a little bit haywire. And even when it comes to travel, it also affects travel. And if you think about communication, um, communication has a lot to do with the planet Mercury. Okay, so I hope I've explained it the way that I'm trying to get it out right. But guys, I want to go ahead and tell you also that I am a Gemini. Shadow Girl Sherry, I myself am a Gemini. The planet that rules Gemini is Mercury. So I might even seem a little bit mixed up right now because, I mean, think about it. It's probably like, okay, you think about the sign of Gemini, it's 2. So I'm thinking right now, okay, you may as well consider, I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. You know, a shadow is, it's something, it's something that comes off from something else. So you think about 2. I'm a Gemini, and the symbol or the sign for Gemini is the twins. So I feel like, being that it's Mercury retrograde, um, it's probably like 4 people running around in the room right now. That's kind of what I feel like right now. Guys, I really do believe in these things, especially since I have looked into things like, it's not just tarot cards, but since I have um recently I started looking into my birth chart, and that is a whole other video, but I cannot wait until I get to that. But because then if you were to look at your birth chart, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of truth in it. So anyhow, but again, right now Mercury is in retrograde, and again, I've already said it, that I am a Gemini. So I I kind of feel like I feel it. Like I feel like I'm kind of like all over the place. Now, guys, I'm looking at my phone right now, and this is another thing that I say often when I jump on clock in. I always say clock into TikTok. When I say clock into TikTok, I'm talking about numbers, and I always talk about the number 69 a lot. And sometimes I will add a 3 to that, because when you have 69, you put a 3 in front of it. You then have the 369 method. But guys, I just looked at my phone, and a lot of times, I've said it, when I have a tendency to get on TikTok, it's just a little bit before I get on TikTok, whatever, I'll often look at my phone and notice that it is at 69%. And I just looked at my phone right now. It is at 69%. So I just wanted to go ahead and say that. I've told you the thing about Mercury retrograde and how I feel a little bit off. And that was another reason why I've been shying away from going live. And then there have been other things that have popped up on me. But anyhow, guys, what you were looking at right now, basically, during COVID-19 really is when I started, I really got deep into spirituality. I've also mentioned here on my channel that another thing that really got me into spirituality, the law of attraction, all that kind of thing, was, the illness of my mother and her death. But basically, I just wanted to let you guys know that, that's something that got me into the law of attraction. And through COVID-19, I really, dove deep, had a deep dive into spirituality. And it's probably kind of been that way for a lot of people. I kind of feel like, but anyhow, guys, during that time, during COVID-19 and, being in your house and me being in my house, whatever, I got into a lot of journaling and things like that. I got back into journaling because I had gotten out of it. It was something that I really enjoyed doing. During COVID-19, I got back into it. And for whatever reason, I started writing things out in the way that you see it written out on my paperwork right now. Like, I don't write things out. Usually when I write up paperwork for my channel, I write it out and it looks like this. So if you're looking at this right now, I hope that you can see it's kind of like a puzzle, but it says phone ringing. So when I came on tonight, the idea was, okay, ring, ring, but it started to sound like bring, like bring it on, I guess, guys. I don't know. But I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Basically, this is kind of like, I'm letting you guys know that, this is kind of like a phone ringing. And I want to get you guys, to kind of, because I need to do it myself. I'm worked up and I'm all over the place. So I'm trying to kind of get more chill. And I've had, a little bit of caffeine today, and that's throwing me off. And guys, when I jump online or I jump on, TikTok, my channel and all that, it's kind of a thing that I do to calm down and all that and whatever. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to calm down because I am wired. And I want you guys to try to calm down and think about something. I'm going to put something in your mind for you to think about. And I'm thinking about it for myself as well. You're looking at this picture right now, and it says phone ringing. I want you, I definitely credit myself on having quite the imagination. All right. So right now, what I want you to do is, if you can, I guess it would take like you have to be maybe at a certain age, or I don't know. I don't know the age groups, the ages of the people that are joining me tonight. If you can leave that in the comments, I'd really like it. But I got to consider myself that, I'm not going to put my age in here, whatever. But I'm not saying that I'm old and all that. But anyhow, I want you to imagine, close your eyes, whatever. Look at the wall, look at the ceiling, whatever, and blank out. And just think of, like, put in your mind like an image of like an old-fashioned phone. Not the phones that we have now. I'm talking about like a phone that you would have hanging on your wall. Now, this was back in the day, right? Okay. You've got a phone hanging on the wall and the phone's ringing. Okay. Or you could think about a phone, maybe a payphone. Okay. And that's, it's outdated, right? But I have always liked the idea of an old-fashioned phone. Now, not to say that I don't love the phone that I have in my hand right now that I'm making this video, I'm doing this live with. I love it. But I love the look of an old-fashioned phone, right? And I started, even before I began this live, there was a part of me that wanted to, like, have an AI, get like an AI generated picture of a phone. Like, with my phone, it's called Gemini. Go to Gemini, and I'm a Gemini. So that's, again, like 4 people running around, right? Me, myself, and I, and then Gemini. And you guys know what I'm talking about when I say Gemini, right? So there was a part of me that wanted to use Gemini, get in like an AI generated, picture, and, tell Gemini to come up with a picture of just an old-fashioned phone. And there's probably going to be a couple of times I'm going to do that. I'm just going to get it AI generated, right? And then you're going to come on here, and if you are, if you tune in to watch me, whatever, you're going to see that, right? It's going to be an AI generated phone, like an old-fashioned AI generated phone, whatever. Okay. So the idea is for you to just think of an old-fashioned phone that is hanging on a wall, or if you had to go, if this was back in the day and you had to go to like a pay phone or something, right? I want you to think about that instead of look at the paperwork, but also think about an old-fashioned phone, guys. And I definitely credit myself on having a really broad, vivid imagination. I always have. And, if you are into the law of attraction, if you consider yourself to be a little bit witchy, anything like that, um, you may, I didn't know back in the day before I got into the law of attraction and then kind of like the witchy things, because some people do look at the law of attraction as it's witchcraft, or as in it's witchcraft. To make, if I can make you feel a little bit more comfortable, you don't want to look at it as witchcraft, I'm going to go ahead and say it this way. Witchcraft is in which way do you want to go? Do you choose to go down a path where you are thinking negative all the time? Or do you choose to go down a path where you are thinking positive? So it's the idea of witchcraft, right? As in, which way do you want to go? If you don't want to look at it as witchcraft, as in the way that it's commonly looked at, okay? But anyhow, guys, before I got into the law of attraction, before I found out about things like that, I've always had a very vivid imagination. Could always close my eyes. I could easily find myself kind of daydreaming or thinking about something, and thinking about something in like a better light, or considering, okay, instead of it being this way, I'm going to make it that way, right? And since I've gotten into the law of attraction, I found out the law of attraction, witchy things, whatever. I have found that visualizing and picturing things as in it's already happened. Don't picture like the 3D as in the way you see it, the way you open your eyes and you see everything and it's right in front of you. The idea is, if you wanted to get in, even if you were scripting something out, you would want to write it down as, and again, I mentioned a journal earlier, the fact that I've always enjoyed journaling. If I had known back in the day anything about scripting, whereas back in the day, it was just, if I was writing in a journal or a diary, I was writing out things as in the way that it was going down, instead of writing it out in the way, as with scripting, you write it out in the way, you write out like your thoughts or your whatever you are trying to manifest. You don't write it down as in, okay, I'll be so happy when this happens or this. No, you're supposed to write it down as in present tense, as if it's already happened, as in, I'm so very happy and I'm so grateful that I'm living this. Or that if you're trying to like attract love or something into your life, then you would be like, oh, I'm so happy that I have found the love of my life. We went to such and such a place, right? You get what I'm saying. If you're watching this, I think you know what I'm talking about, what scripting is. What would be the same thing if you were, visualizing something in your mind? You want to close your eyes and think of something. And I think a lot of times if you find yourself kind of daydreaming or something like that, most likely you're not thinking about like a negative thing. I guess, let me think about that a little bit. Let me think about that. Let me reword that, because I think that, your imagination, your mind can run away with you, but you have to learn to kind of, when you get into the law of attraction and you find out about the law of attraction, it may be that you may have to learn to retrain your mind to get the negative thoughts out and to picture more positive pictures in your mind. Think positive, have positive pictures in your mind. Even when you look in the mirror, you're looking in the mirror. It's kind of like a spell. Look in the mirror and say positive stuff to your reflection, because your reflection obviously is looking back at you. I think you get what I'm saying. But basically, guys, I just want you to think of an old-fashioned phone, right? And I may have gotten a little bit off, from what the subject of what I was talking about, because, guys, I'm just trying to calm you down in the same way that I'm trying to calm myself down. Again, I already said Mercury is in retrograde. I do believe in these things, and I am a Gemini, and I do feel a little bit off. But at the same time, I didn't want that or anything else to continue to like keep me away from going live and keep me from connecting. This says phone ringing, to keep me from connecting with you guys. And again, I'm going to go ahead and say it again. If you are watching this video right now, it may be that you may consider yourself to be maybe a little bit of a misfit. And why do I say that? I say that if this has popped up on your For You page right now, and you have joined my live, you may consider yourself to be a little bit of a misfit. Why do I say that? Because you are listening to the voice of someone where, obviously, I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. And instead of looking, and there's a whole reason that I don't want to go into all that, because it'll, I'll be talking forever. And I don't want to waste time tonight. I want to get to what really the nitty and the gritty, what I wanted to talk about tonight. But you are basically, you really don't know what I look like. And that's why I go by Shadow Girl Sherry. There's a whole reason, maybe I'll say it later on as to why I go into I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. If you've watched any of my other videos, then you already know why I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. But if you are watching this right now, you have no idea what I look like, whatever. It may be a little bit of an idea, maybe a thought to put out there. It might mean that you may need to do a little bit of shadow work. That's just what I'm thinking, right? I'm just making the suggestion. It's just a thought that came to the top of my mind right now. But with that being said, I'm going to jump into this again. Again, I apologize that Mercury is in retrograde, and I feel like I feel it. I am a Gemini. So again, guys, I just want you to relax with me, just like I'm trying to do, and think about an old-fashioned phone, if you can remember one, if you can think of one, okay? And imagine that phone ringing, okay? And now I'm going to deep dive into what this video is all about, okay? Imagine that phone ringing. Imagine an old-fashioned phone, or you know what? If you want to, just look at your own phone and don't think about texting. Think about if that phone were to actually ring. I don't know if there may be some people where you're not big on talking on a phone. You're just all about texting. Can you guys let me know? Leave it here in the chat. Are you all about texting, or do you here and there have a real conversation? I think that's kind of dying away. So if you could leave that here in the chat, I would really appreciate it. I'm just trying to get you guys to engage with me a little bit. I don't want to be the only one. This is a live. I want everyone to feel like you belong. Like, again, I said that you may feel like you may be a little bit of a misfit if you're watching this. The idea is here, I don't want you to feel like a misfit. I want everybody to feel like they fit in, right? So let me jump into this. I want you to just imagine an old-fashioned phone, or think about your own phone, the phones that we have now. And now I'm going to get into basically with the whole thing that I've been trying to get to while I've been going live, and I'm off a little bit tonight. But again, I didn't want to keep that. I didn't want to use that as the excuse as to not, go live again, because even every time I get on TikTok, these videos are sent to me saying, okay, the algorithm is sending me videos about, okay, you need to, stay consistent and all that different stuff. And you've got potential and all this. And it's just, the thing is, I've just been so busy that I haven't had a chance to make a video, 3 videos a day. I just haven't had the time on my hands right now. I've been busy, but I wanted to go live with you guys tonight. I did this paperwork up, and here we are. So you're looking at this paperwork right now that I have written up. And the idea, I've told you to imagine a phone. The idea is, imagine this old-fashioned phone, and imagine that the phone is ringing. And obviously, I'm going to look at the names here. I see a Lisa Ann has joined. Lisa Ann has picked up the phone. Gregory Sanders has picked up the phone. Yvette, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Yvette. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Yvette Elliott has picked up the phone. Butterfly has picked up the phone. I see different names popping on. You've picked up the phone, the old-fashioned phone that's ringing, right? Okay. Now I'm going to jump into the nitty and gritty and everything that really what I wanted to talk about tonight. It's 10:10. I just looked at my phone. It is 10:10 right now. So I kind of want you to, we are all joined together as a collective. And if you know anything about angel numbers, right now it is 10:10 p.m. So with that being said, being that we are all gathered together as a collective, it's so said that when you are, you have a group, you're gathered together as, as a group, as a collective, which we all are right now. I don't know how many people have joined the chat because I won't be able to see that until my live is over with. And then I'll be able to see how many people join the live. But since we are all joined together as a collective, there is an energy behind that. With that being said, guys, it is Mercury retrograde, but we're going to think positive here. I want you to think about something that you are trying to manifest. And just for a little bit, maybe a minute or so, just kind of think about it. Or let's say 10 seconds or so. Just close your eyes and just imagine whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, as in it's already happened. Okay. Just because I saw the number 1010 and we're all here gathered as a collective, right? We're thinking positive. That's what my channel is all about. All right. Even though here in just a little bit, it's going to get a little somber. Okay. So we've used the 1010 and now I'm going to jump into the conversation, and I want you again to picture that phone again. Settle your mind, and as I'm trying to do, and picture a regular phone. Again, before I came on live, I wanted to go to Gemini, whatever, and get like an AI generated image or picture, an AI image, generated image of an old-fashioned phone. And I'm going to do that a couple of times, from now on. I'm going to do that every now and again, all right? Because the idea is here. The phone is ringing, and Janique, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Janique has picked up the phone. Guys, there is a reason why I have the words phone ringing written out in this way. There is a reason why I have picked these particular colors for this phone. Okay. I've got the words written down, but you don't see a phone. You've got to use your imagination and picture a phone. And imagine that you have just picked up that phone and you are talking to me, Shadow Girl Sherry. Okay. Now, the colors that you're looking at on the right, you see like a silver color. You can imagine white. You see fake petals. They're flower petals. But if you use your imagination, you could turn those flower petals into clouds, okay? You could turn them into clouds. Just use your imagination. But I also want you to think about a phone, okay? But you look at right beside the flower petals, you see silver, okay? You could look at that as silver, or you could look at it as gray, okay? Use your imagination, okay? On the other side, you see blue. I use these colors for a reason. Now I'm going to jump into the reason why this phone that I want you, the phone that I came up with, or I was thinking of, is silver and blue. Okay, guys. Now, and this is going to get a little bit somber, but it's real. It really happened. Okay, guys. I know that it's kind of leaving the headlines. I haven't been hearing a whole lot about it because in our world, things are so fast. Something can happen, and before you know it, something else has happened, and there's something else that's in the news that everybody's watching, right? Okay, but on November the 5th, there was something that happened, right? There was something that happened on November the 5th. Okay, and this is somber and it's sad. But I just kind of felt called. Again, you were looking, I asked you all to imagine a phone, and I've got the words phone ringing. So I just kind of felt called to make this video. Okay. And I want to thank anybody who has, everybody that has joined me, anybody who stayed with this live this long, because again, it's Mercury retrograde and I am a little bit off. I've had coffee, everything. All right. So I want to apologize if I've been off, and I want to thank everybody who's joining me tonight. Right. But now it's just going to get a little bit somber. And because, just like I always say, that I try to keep things on my channel as upbeat as I can. This is a world of duality, right? I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. I try to keep things as upbeat as I can, but obviously if I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry and I say that I need to do shadow work, there has been things that have led me to call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. There's been things that have led me to know that I need to do shadow work, right? This is a world of duality. Not everything is bright and cupcakes and sunshine all the time, right? Obviously, it is a world of duality. So there's going to be times that I am going to have to, I feel that I am going to feel called to go live and talk about something that may not be the happiest, the happiest thing out there, right? And this is one of those times that I felt called to do that. So I'm gonna jump into this right now. On November the 5th, something, happened. Something very, very sad happened. Okay. If you look at the colors right now, you see the colors blue and you see silver, silver or like a glitter and whatever. All the paper, whatever that I have laid out is glittery. But you see blue and you see silver, or maybe you might think about gray, right? Okay, now there's a reason why I picked these colors. I picked these particular colors because on November the 5th, something very sad and somber happened, right? And that was the death of the young football player, the Cowboys, Marshawn Kneeland. Okay, Marshawn Kneeland. I want to talk a little bit about that tonight. And again, this is kind of somber, but it happened. And I've been kind of busy lately, so I don't know if it's really, things jump. There's always different things going on. Like something will be in the headlines for a while, and then before you know it, there's something else happen. If you watch the news every day, there's always sad stories on the news. That's why I'm not big on watching the news. I'm not big on watching the news. I know that you have to keep up with it. You have to know what's going on around you and things like that. But I have seen, different people in the law of attraction community, different people say that, watch, be careful of what you give your attention to. Watching the news and things like that, we know that we all have to be aware of our surroundings and things that are going on in the world and all that. But I'm not one of those people that likes to watch the news all the time, because I think it kind of programs you to think a certain way. It puts you in a down there. When you watch the news, you're not looking at the news and you think that you're going to get on there and you're going to hear good news. That doesn't, for the most part, you don't hear a lot of good news on the news, right? There's always sad stories and things coming to us, different things going on in the world. Obviously, you've got to be aware and know what's going on. But, to watch those things, even, just whatever we consume, you have to watch, right? But things happen. So I don't know how, if this has the whole story of Marshawn Kneeland is, again, I've been busy, I've been doing things, whatever, and I look at things and different things pop up on my phone, my algorithm, whatever. But there's always different things going on. Okay. And it's something because just as, you know, this this story came up with Marshawn Nealand. Obviously, you know, that this is the young 24-year-old football player who he played for the Dallas Cowboys. And I, you know, most likely you already know what I'm talking about. Marshawn was 24 years old, and you know, he took his own life. It was it was a suicide, and he took his life um with a it was a self-inflicted gunshot, right? And you know, when I first heard about this, I'm like, that was so sad to hear and so hard to hear. Because obviously this is a young man, 24 years old. And I think I may have seen in, you know, where in the news, here we go, in the news, that it may have been like because I'm not really I'm not the biggest like football fan. I'm not really into football, but I am around people that, you know, really enjoy football. Love watching football, right? And it wouldn't even have to be the thing that you would be in football. You would, you know, be into football. Like that's something that you like to watch for you to have heard what happened. Okay. Because, you know, when something like that happens, especially to someone who is like well known, like this is a football player, he's famous, you know what I mean? He's well, you know, well known. And now, especially since this happened, he's even more, you know, more well known, right? For the wrong reasons. Okay. But on the news, the way I understand, it may have been like 2 days before, maybe 2 days before he took his own life, he had actually, I believe he had scored, you know, a touchdown, right? You know, he had done something great for his team. And you would think this young man would be on cloud nine, right? Top of the world. Okay. And here you go and you find out that like 2 days later, it's in the news that he took his own life, right? Um, I felt called to make this video because I just wanted to talk a little bit about this. I know that it's somber, whatever. Um, but when I heard about it, it touched me. And I want to say a little bit about what I heard, like, you know, in the news, whatever. Because the thing about it is, one story will be like something that everybody's talking about, and then before you know it, something else has happened, and then we're everybody's talking about something else. Okay, but my idea here is this was a very young man um, that had the rest of his life, you know, had his whole life ahead of him, right? And just like that, this has happened, and before you know it, it will be everybody will be on to something else. But this young man um, took his own life, and you would look at somebody like that, and you would think that, you know, you would look at him and think that he has his whole life in front of him, everything to live for. This is a young man, plays for the Dallas Cowboys. Um, Now, in my opinion, I look at him, he's a young man. He was a young man, 24 years old. And from with my eyes, a very attractive young man. Okay. Everything to live for. I don't know everything about his life. You know, obviously, you know, I think I saw where, you know, he had a girlfriend, young, attractive woman. Okay. Uh, it seemed like, you know, this young man has everything to live for. 2 days before this happened, he's, you know, there's the football game going on, right? And made a touchdown? Okay. Again, I don't watch football. I'm not a big football fan, but I do have people around me, family members, so on, that are into football. People I live with, my family, that they're into football. So I'm always hearing football games, right? And another thing that I want to say, there is I'll go ahead and say this. Um, I had like I'll go ahead and say this, okay. My I'm gonna say the person that I considered like to be my father figure, right? Growing up. He was very much into football, and he was a huge Cowboys fan. A matter of fact, and I'm not lying, um, growing up, I there was just there were football games, and the Cowboys and all that was, it was, something that I heard a lot about, right? Growing up, cowboy, and I'm not lying, uh, I'm gonna say father figure, um, had a Cowboys jacket, right? Um, I think had maybe a Cowboys, you know, cap, in for, cold weather and all that. Huge Cowboys fan, right? If he were still living today, this would have been something that would have touched him because he was such a big Cowboys fan, right? And for that reason, I just kind of felt called to do it. And just because of the fact that, I mean, this is somebody, young man, very attractive young man, that took his own life. And I want to say a little bit about, you've probably heard it in the news, whatever, that what happened was there was a traffic stop. He was stopped, and I don't know everything, obviously, what was going on or whatever, but it was said, I believe, that he fled from the scene or whatever, and fled from the scene, and it was like a chase, and the chase ended with Marshawn's car. There was a crash, and it took there was like the police, um his car was found, or the vehicle that he was in was located, and it's crashed, and he was found in a porta potty, and there was, the way I understand, and I looked it up a little bit before I even started this live, there was blood, coming from the porta potty, and it was, I saw, I looked it up online, that um, there was, what is it, thermal, like, what thermal, I think it was imaging, I guess, I don't know about all this stuff, and a drone, that, that's how his body was found. Okay. And these were the things that, let the cops know, okay, that there's something going on, here. And they see the blood leaving the porta potty, and this is Marshawn's body's in the porta potty. And I just wanted to talk about this because um it touched me, because again, you would think that somebody like that would be, they're at the top of the mountain, right? And he had so much to live for. Attractive young man, you would think that he has everything to live for. You think he's on the top of the world, right? But then there was a story of, they, started looking in, to his background, and there were interviews that were shown where Marshawn had, they showed that he had lost his mother. His mother died, and he had a necklace that, with the necklace, there are necklaces that you can have, like when you have someone that has passed away, and they are cremated, you can put some of their ashes inside of, I guess I'll call it a locket, a part that goes on the necklace. And their ashes can be enclosed or, enclosed in that, I'll say locket because I don't know, the necklace is made so that you can carry your loved ones' remains, a little bit of their ashes, to wear this necklace around your neck with the ashes within it. You know what I'm talking about. And it was on the news, and I've seen in videos and things on TikTok, everything, where he was talking about the struggle, how it was shown where he went to his mother's funeral, and he got up and he said things at his mother's funeral, and he wore this necklace, in remembrance of her. Okay. And obviously, again, this is a very young man, 24 years old. And that really touched me. And that really, really, really touched me because I know that pain. I know the pain that he was speaking of. Okay. This young man, the way I understand, his mother, this was a single mother. And this is a single mother who was, struggling and so on and so forth, obviously as a single mother, to raise her son, to raise her son. And they're going through struggles, have went through all these struggles and all that. And now he has made it to success. He's a successful young man, college, all that different stuff. And now he has made it in the big leagues. He's a pro, football player. And he has been through this, the hard times, the going to school, growing up and all that different stuff. Has a single mother. She's been there with him. They've struggled. I'm just thinking about this, the struggle. And then when he finally gets to the top and it's not a struggle anymore. I mean, he's still obviously got to perform, you're going to be a football player. You can't just call yourself a football player. Okay. You've got to go out there and be that football player, right? You got to live up to that name. So there's that pressure, but he's made it. He has made it. The mother was there with him, raising him through the struggle. And now he finally gets to success. He's living his dream, going from struggle to now success. And, all his teammates, and it was in the news saying that, how positive he was. Again, my channel's about trying to be positive, and I'll stress that again. But again, obviously, if I'm making a video about this, it's a world of duality. Not everything is peaches and cream all the time, right? But my idea is to try to transmute it. You get what I'm saying? But again, I felt called to make this video because I was very, very touched by it. I think maybe a lot of people probably were. It's a big surprise to hear about something like that. When you think about somebody that's so young, attractive, and I won't even say that, young, successful, whatever, even at an older, whatever, I'm not saying that, but I'm just thinking of the idea is this is a young man that has his whole life in front of him, right? Seems to be doing well. The team is talking about how he was one of those ones that loved coming to practice, loved putting that extra work, all that stuff in. And again, always seemed like he's, happy or whatever. But then it was said that, the family or whatever had said that he did deal with a little bit of, the mental health problems. And there were mental health problems there, obviously. And, the family had said that when, I looked it up and, in the news and all that videos that you watch, saying that at the, after, he had, committed suicide, this self-inflicted gunshot wound, um, there were, his loved ones was trying to get in touch with the police and let the police know that there was a mental health problem, and that he had been sending out goodbye messages, to his loved ones. And then obviously the next, you find out that he took his own life, and he was actually found in a porta potty. When I heard about that one, that really went through me, because I'm like, man, you kind of wonder what must have been going through his mind, because, obviously I'm thinking that, he's not planning to go and end his life in a porta potty, but that's just where he ended up at, the car crash. And then I guess, he goes in the porta potty. I wasn't there. You get what I'm saying. But he was found in a porta potty, blood coming out of the porta potty. And when I think about that, I'm thinking about this young man that has the rest of his life to live, a football player, a pro football player. You think this has everything going for him, right? And this is the way his life ends at 24 years old. And when I heard about the idea of the porta potty, I just thought about, man, that was almost like him saying, in the end, I mean, maybe, he crashed, and then maybe the porta potty's nearby, so he just goes in there. But at the same time, you got to wonder, what was he thinking? It's so sad, because it's almost like he was saying he took his life in a porta potty. So it's kind of like he was saying that this is what his life was. Like, his life is crap. I don't want to say nasty words and things like that here on TikTok. I don't want to be, have that, so I'm not going to say words and whatever. So I'm just going to say it was like he was saying that his life, throwing his life away as it was crap. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to say the other words. S-H like shh. I don't want to say it. So I'll be shh. I'll just shut up about that. But you get what I'm saying. A porta potty. So it's kind of like when I heard that, I'm like, it's kind of like he was throwing his life away as it was crap. This is his body. It's a young, very attractive man. And then this is how he ends up. And, I'm just thinking also about the fact, the idea that, his mother was, again, I'm going to say it again, very pretty woman. And if he's only 24, he's 24 years old, and his mother, passed away, I'm thinking she didn't look old at all. Like, the mother didn't look, she looks like she's probably maybe in her 40s, right? Looked like she was about in her 40s. Very attractive, pretty woman. I don't know. And that, that doesn't matter. But she's a young mother. 40 some years, that's not old. Okay. And obviously in life, you don't know how you're going to go. You don't know the timing of when you're going to go. The only thing about this young man is, I guess, he chose to take his life at that time, which he was only 24 years old. Okay. And again, I just said, we can't plan. You don't know when you're going to go or how you're going to go, except for like if somebody goes and they commit suicide, right? They chose their way to go, chose his way to go, and he chose the time of his death. Like, this is when he wanted to go. And I wanted to make this video, and it's somber and everything, but I just felt called to do it because it's so sad to hear about somebody taking their own life. Again, I try to keep things as upbeat here on my channel, but again, I'll say it again, it is a world of duality. Everything's not peaches and cream. Obviously, if there is going to be this young, successful young man that's going to take his own life, right? And again, I felt called to make the video because I was just, you know, it was very sad to hear. And, in life, before you know it, the news every day, you have the news every day. There's something new in the news. There'll be something else in the news. There's always something going on. And usually when you watch the news, it's something negative, right? Okay. That's why I try to avoid it as much as I can, even though I do want to be aware of what's going on in the world. And obviously there's a lot going on in the world now anyway. I mean, the big thing, not the big thing recently was, again, the whole food stamp thing. People that had food stamps weren't going to have their food stamps. That was a big thing, okay? It's always something new. But I didn't want this story, that particular story, to just go by without my getting on and just talking about it a little bit, venting about it, getting it out a little bit. Because again, if you've watched any of my other videos, I have said that one of the reasons why I got into the law of attraction, that I started deep diving into spirituality, the law of attraction, different things like that, through the illness of my mother. My mother was ill. She was, diagnosed with something. And for the last 10 years of her life, she was sick. And then she succumbed to her illness, and she passed away. Okay. But through her illness, and then through her death, is when I really got into the law of attraction. I got into spirituality. I also got into spirituality with COVID-19. I feel like a lot of people probably we all had to think about, okay, we're in our homes. You had to decide, okay, what are you going to do? Which way are you going to go? What are you going to do with your time? What are you going to do with yourself? We all had to think of things, inside of our homes. What are we going to do to keep ourselves busy? I saw on the news and different things like that, where there were people that got into things like, making bread. People made bread. There were people that, I think pizza became a big thing. It was called pandemic pizza, right? People were making pizza. People were making bread, kneading bread and making bread and things like that. And we all did different things. We had to find different things to keep ourselves busy. And again, I've said it here on my channel that it was through just like Marshawn Nealon. Obviously, with his mother's death, there was some depression. Okay, there was some depression, and he had talked about it. Depression. I mentioned the necklace with his mother's part of it. His mother's remains in the necklace that he had wore around his neck. And it was shown like him at his mom's funeral, talking at his mom's funeral. I did the same at my mom's funeral. And again, the idea that this young man, this was a single mother, she's going through the struggle. Single mother, there's a struggle. And then he reaches success. And then I'm thinking about this and thinking of the fact that he was obviously thinking about, the fact that his mother was with him through that struggle. Again, single mother, the struggle, all that different stuff. And then when he finally reaches success, now he doesn't have the very person that was there with him through the struggle. He's reached success. And you know how there's a lot of, football players, and there's football players, and there are guys, I want to match up these little pieces because I have no problem with talking. TikTok has this thing where here in just a second, it's going to be 4 minutes and 40, right now, 4 minutes and 44 seconds. That is an angel number. 4 minutes and 44 seconds I have to, my live will end. But I'm going to take this puzzle piece and join it over because, and then that will let TikTok know that I want to continue going live. Okay. Okay, again, guys, this is Shadow Girl Sherry. TikTok was about to just let me know that, I've in 4 minutes and probably 13 seconds, something like that, And I did see the number 444. That's an angel number, all about grounding and, stability and all that, right? Okay. Just want to share that. Talk about angel numbers and all that when I see the numbers, just like earlier I mentioned 1010. But I had a certain amount of time where like 4 minutes and 44 seconds, my live was going to end, and, they tell you to join this puzzle piece up, and then when you join it up, your live continues. So I just did that. At first, when I first started going live, I didn't know how to do that. But I want to quickly say that when I first started going live, it was such a hard thing for me. For the longest time, I was making videos, and when I would make my videos, obviously I wouldn't appear in my videos. I still don't appear myself in my videos. Maybe in time I will feel more comfortable and I will do that. And I've already explained reasons as to why. It's a privacy thing, and I just don't think I'm not the biggest on thinking that, okay, how people, they'll have like their newborn baby or something like that, and the next thing you know, it's on like the internet or social media for everybody to see. I'm protective, right? I'm protective of myself and of my family, whatever. And maybe in time I'll feel more comfortable about coming out and having my face everywhere. You know what I mean? But for now, it's Shadow Girl Sherry, and that's just the way it is. But again, when I first started going live, before I started going live, I was just making videos where I would, have the picture or whatever, and then nobody would see what I look like, but it was already recorded, right? I already made the video and then I uploaded it. I decided during this thing, if you're watching this video, you may already know what the Lionsgates portal is. I started going live during the Lionsgates portal. Actually on the 8th day of this year was the first time I went live. And that was the idea with that was during that Lionsgates portal, a time that's said to be a time to be bold and come out and be your authentic self. I said the least thing that I can do, if I'm not going to show, let everybody know what I look like, the least thing that I can do is go live and challenge myself in that way. And I was so nervous to do it. I was so nervous to go live. But now that I've gone live, I love doing it. And I will say that, again, it had been, before I did this live, maybe a week before, it's been a week since I have gone live. But that was because I had gotten busy, things popped up that I had to do, so on and so forth, and I didn't have time. I gotta balance my time out. Gotta balance time out, I love, TikTok, and I want to get to the point, obviously, where I want to be able to go live on TikTok and on YouTube at the same time. And I want to go ahead and mention that my channel, I go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry. But if you can find me on YouTube, you're going to look under, my channel is called Sunset Songs, okay? You can go over on YouTube. My channel's called Sunset Songs. You'll also find Shadow Girl Sherry, and you can also find Sherry Shadow Closet. Sherry Shadow Closet, Shadow Girl Sherry, Sunset Songs. So those are the things that you can find me over here on TikTok, Shadow Girl Sherry, Sherry Shadow Closet. Okay, on YouTube, Shadow Girl Sherry, Sherry Shadow Closet, Sunset Songs. And Sunset Songs is the name of my channel. But eventually I want to get to the point where I'm going live on TikTok. And at the same time I'm going live on TikTok, I also want to be live streaming on YouTube as well, because I got to pick up more on YouTube. I just haven't figured out how to do that. I got to figure out how to do that. But I did want to quickly mention my channel, and I hope that you will choose to do so. Go over and join me on my channel on YouTube, which is called Sunset Songs. I hope that you will choose to like, click, share, subscribe, all those different things. And obviously when you do these things, you're helping me out and you are encouraging me. So but I've just found that when it comes to going live, it's just so much easier for me to just put a picture up, whatever, and then just start talking. And even when I first started going live tonight, I was nervous because I hadn't been on in a while, but now obviously I'm into it, and I've gotten into it. And guys, I'm a Gemini. Geminis are known to be social butterflies. I'm talkative. Here I am, and it's gone over an hour. I don't have a hard time. I'm a Gemini. I don't have a hard time talking for over an hour. That's my thing. My thing is here on TikTok. Again, obviously, if you go over an hour, it's not much of you haven't just ticked and talked. You've went over an hour. After you go over an hour, I will not be able to upload this video, this live in its entirety here on TikTok. I will make clips of it, and you can watch the clips later here on TikTok. But if you want to see this video in its entirety, again, you're going to have to go over on my channel on YouTube, which is called Sunset Songs. And I hope that you will choose to. Whenever you choose to like, click, share, subscribe, all those different things, you are helping me out. You are pushing me further into the algorithm. And, you know, that's what I want, because I want to, I love doing this. I love doing this. I love doing this, and I love connecting with you guys. I love talking about the law of attraction, and I love talking to like-minded people that are trying to be positive. But again, this video, this live is not the most, bright, happy video or live. This is a somber live. But I really felt called to make this video because, again, obviously, I didn't personally know this young football player, Marshawn Kneeland. Marshawn Kneeland. I didn't know him personally, obviously, okay? But there are things that I feel that everybody goes through. We all go through different things, right? And obviously death is a hard thing. And I just felt like a connection. I could feel his pain when I found out that he was dealing with the death of his mother. Because again, I have said many a times here on my channel that one of the reasons that I got into the law of attraction and all that was in the spirituality was with, it was the illness, going through the illness, facing my mom's illness and then having to face her death. And it was a very, very hard, dark experience for me. I know that I've said here on TikTok, I feel very comfortable coming on and talking about this stuff on my channel. I feel like I can kind of let things go and relax. I feel that whoever decides to join my lives, or basically you look at the picture you're looking at right now, it says phone ringing. And basically my idea was, it's kind of like I wanted you to imagine an old-fashioned telephone, if you can do that. If you are, you can do that, you're the age or whatever. If you don't know what an old-fashioned, telephone would look like, that would hang on the wall, or, it had a cord and all that, or even if you had to look at just like you look at some of the cell phones, like when cell phones, there used to be a time where there were, car phones. That was a popular thing, car phones. And if you look back on old television, like old shows, like, I don't know, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like the old Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I was watching a rerun one time, and I noticed that, at that point, the new thing, the idea was, okay, cell phones, like a car phone. And then there was the phones that were just cordless. And now you look at it and it looks like some kind of a block. Like Will Smith was holding like a block in his hand. That's what it looked like, a brick or a block in his hand. Now you look at phones today and it's like, wow, what was going on back in that time, right? But there was a time phones looked like that. But my idea is I wanted you to, if you could do that, just imagine an old-fashioned phone, whether, you're just an old-fashioned phone, because I like the look of an old-fashioned phone, and imagine that phone ringing. And it's me, Shadow Girl Sherry. I've got the phone there. I've got the word ringing. Um, I wanted to jump on tonight, so I didn't take the time to draw like an old-fashioned phone. I started to go and have Gemini, create an AI generated picture for me. And other times I'll do that. I will go ahead and do that. But for tonight, I wanted to do it Shadow Girl Sherry's way. And I wrote phone out in a weird way, and it says ringing. So the phone was ringing, and whoever, guys, I want to thank anybody that has joined me tonight. Right now, I'm looking at the name Butterfly. I want to thank you, Butterfly, for joining my live. And even if you look at this picture right now, if you look up in the right hand top corner above, what I call my logo, my channel's called Sunset Songs. There is a logo. I say it's my logo, Sunset Songs. Above that, you see a butterfly, and it's a mirrored butterfly, and that just stands for a soul. Okay, it stands for a soul because when you think about like spirit animals and things like that, it's so said that some people think about birds. They think about if you think about angels, um, if you think about angels, they have wings. Okay, now what else has wings? Birds have wings, right? Um, it's the element of air. And I talk about the elements here on my channel, right? Because I do talk about different things here on my channel. I work with the elements of nature. I think about the sun. I think about the moon. I think about the phases of the moon. I work with those phases. And I talk about the elements, okay? Water, wind, fire, all these different things. The ground, dirt. I talk about these things. I talk about the senses, all that, okay? And to me, because I love nature, it's a beautiful thing. But basically, when I made this, layout for you all, trying to attract you, my channel's about the law of attraction, trying to attract people to, this live and to get you to pick up the phone. I laid out, a scene, because instead of you seeing me, I make up a scene, and then that's what you're looking at. I basically look at a scene. Instead of you seeing me, you see a scene. So I've made this scene up, and in the top right corner above Sunset Songs, you see a butterfly. It's a mirrored butterfly. If I had gotten over top of the butterfly, you would know what I look like right now. But it's a protective thing. That's why I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. In time, that may change. But at the same time, I see the name Butterfly. And again, thank you so much, Butterfly, for joining my live tonight. I want to thank anybody that has joined my live. Anybody that has stayed with me this long, I hope that you will choose to like, click, share, subscribe, all those different things. When you do those things, you are pushing me further into the algorithm. You are helping me out. You're helping my channel out. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that. But again, you see the butterfly. I see the name Butterfly has joined. Butterfly has picked up the phone. But if you look at the butterfly, you looked at this picture, there's a butterfly in the right hand corner of this picture. And the reason why I put a butterfly in the picture is because it stands for a soul. It stands for spirit. And it's just basically the spirit. You think about spirit animals. When I think about things like heaven, I never said that I don't, yes, I'm into kind of like witchy things and stuff like that. I'm into those kind of things. I love nature. I love nature, right? I love nature. Okay. I love the elements. I love the moon. I love the stars. I love herbs. I love flowers. I love trees. I love nature. Okay. And, basically when I talk about my channel, I often try to mention that, there may be some people that think about the law of attraction, they think about witchcraft. I'm not one of those people where I don't believe in God. I never said that. And I want to say a little bit about that again. I've stressed that a lot here on my channel. And it's not to, my idea is everybody believes what they believe. And I'm not here to try to push anything on anyone, right? I'm not here for that. But one of the things about my channel is one of the reasons why I started my channel, and I don't come out and advertise about my channel. Like anybody that joins me here on, joins my channel or, hears me, my lives, whatever, I don't advertise. The reason why I don't advertise is because I want to meet people. I want to have people show up where this is what you are into. This is what you're into. The algorithm sent you here. And even if that means it's going to take me longer for my channel to grow, then see, it's all about growth. I planted this idea. I'm going to say my channel. I planted the seed, and I'm growing it from the ground up, right? I'm growing this from a seed, and it's going to grow from the ground up. And that's just, the way I want to put it. I'm growing it from the ground up because I don't advertise. I don't tell everybody, like, if you have ended up here, you're watching this for a reason. It's because the algorithm picked up, and obviously we have something in common. I think that I want to go ahead and say that there have been places that I have been recently where there have been things that have been said to where it kind of let me know, tipped me off to let me know that there are people that I am around. I've been around in everyday life. They know me in everyday life. They know what I look like. They know exactly what I look like. Okay. But I went through some different, extremes or different, things to try to set up my channel and not let everybody, not necessarily let people that I know about my channel. And I did it all for a reason, because when I get on my channel, I want to be able to talk about whatever I want to talk about. I don't want people that I know to judge it. And then the next thing you know, I'm thinking about, okay, do I need to feel bad because I'm talking about the things I'm talking about? I want to be able to talk about what I want to talk about. And recently I have been around people that I think maybe, they know me in real life. They know me in real life, and they could tell by the sound of my voice, and they found me here on TikTok, maybe on YouTube, but especially here on TikTok. And it wasn't a thing that I wanted to offend anybody. I've even gone as far on my channel to say things like, I don't let just my everyday family know about my channel, because I don't advertise. I don't tell, family members. I don't tell friends. I don't tell friends. I have very few friends that I've told about my channel. Very few family members that I've told about my channel. If any of my other people find it, it is because they have found it for a reason. Because I even go so far as to not, there's this thing here on TikTok where they come out and they say, okay, let's join all your social media stuff up together. Your link everything up together. And I say no every time. And I'm just being real, no matter who hears it. I'm just being real. Why? Because again, I want to be able to talk about whatever I want to talk about. I don't want to be necessarily judged for it. I want people to come to me where you are, I don't advertise. You are coming, you know about this channel. You have found this channel because the algorithm has picked you. The algorithm picked you. That's why you're hearing about it, because I don't advertise. Why I did that is because I want people to find this to where we have something in common, and we have something in common, and the algorithm has picked you. And then even when the algorithm, it shows up on your For You page, you can even decide, okay, the algorithm or has picked this for my For You page, but hey, I don't want to go on. So I'm not even going to join the live because I just don't agree. There's something else I can watch. Okay. But if you joined, it's for a reason. It's because we must have something in common. We have something in common. There's something that you're either into the law of attraction, you're trying to be positive, you're not trying to be around, and it's not to say things. I have negative thoughts and I'm trying to work with it. I'm trying to change it up. That's why I got into the law of attraction. I'm trying to change my life. And, whatever's negative, I'm trying to transmute it into something better, right? And I have been around in different settings lately, and I have kind of been tipped off to where I didn't say ticked off, like I'm, pissed, I'll say, but I've been tipped off because there have been different things that have been said where people have kind of said different things. It's like, let me know, they let me know without letting me know, without saying it straight up. Okay, I know that you've got this. I know that you've got this channel or whatever. But they will say things. So they'll say different things, and it's like, okay, I know that they're talking about me. Like I'm in a little group, or I'm in a setting or whatever, and it's kind of like I've been called out, or I'll even say singled out. I'll say singled out. And see, that's one of the reasons why I made my channel. And I think that if you're watching this, you may already know what I'm talking about. It's you may consider yourself to be a chosen one. You may consider yourself to be somebody where you didn't totally fit in. And that's why you're here. Okay. So even at that point, these different things that I've been at, there's been a couple of different settings and situations that I've been at where I'm around people that I know in everyday life. And it could be like a big group of people or a little group of people, whatever, just settings, or just me and like 2 or 3 people, or me and, a handful of people, 5 people, 4 people. And then without saying it, somebody will come out and say it. And it's like they're waiting for me to come out and say, oh yeah, I have a channel. I'm not necessarily doing that. There will be some people say, if they come out and they say it, I'll be like, yeah, I have a channel. And then I always let them know, but I don't advertise. And it's not anything of being smart or trying to be ignorant or saying, I've said things about like, okay, my family, like I don't tell family, like you guys find me. And in a way, I consider you my spiritual family because you have family. You're into the same thing as I am. Because if you weren't, the algorithm wouldn't have put this video or this live on your For You page. It never would have been introduced to you. And again, even you have your own free will. If you want to join it, you want to join. And then if you don't, you don't. Okay. And my idea is I want to get to the real ones. I want to get to the people that you have had different experiences, and your experiences have been like mine. And that's why you're here. And we're discussing it. We're trying to transmute it. We're trying to live positive lives. And I think that there have been different people that have, they've heard, or they've found my channel, and then they wonder why I say things like, okay, there's there's family and things that I know in real life that I wouldn't tell them about my channel, but then you all know. Well, see, I'm only being real. I'm not on here to lie. And my idea is, when I started this channel, I wanted to feel comfortable to be able to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And I never said anything about that, I don't have, certain friends, and that I don't have family. I love my family. I do. And I don't know if different people have, taken it in the wrong way. That was never my idea. I never I never put my family down or anything. I just say that there's, certain people, I think in every family, there's certain people that maybe, I don't know. I mean, you're not going to agree with everybody, agree with about every little thing with everyone, all your friends. You're not going to agree about everything. Okay? With your family, you share blood. Your blood relatives. But you don't have everything in common. And it's not to say that you don't love them, but it's just like, well, why am I going to tell them about this if maybe I'm not the most close to you? And maybe we are close, but it's just like, I'm not sharing this with you because I don't think you would like it. And I don't want you, if you like it, then you like it. So that's how you found me. Whether your family, anybody that I know, you found it because it must be that you are into what I'm into, right? Because again, I'm going to say it again, I don't advertise, but I have been in different situations lately where there has been things that have been said to where I think I've offended people, and that wasn't what I was going for. I just want to be my authentic self, and I want anybody that is joining, you know, talking to me and or what I want it to be. It came to you because we obviously there's some kind of experiences that we share. There's something that we like. There's something that we have in common. Right now, guys, it's 11:11. And I want you to just again, you know what? I'll say this: we're joined together as a collective right now, and it's 11:11. If you're watching this, you probably already know that 11:11 is a very powerful number. We just had the 11:11 portal here in the 11th month, November the 11th. It was the 11th month, and then the 11th day, we had a portal that was said to be open called the 11:11 portal. If you're watching this, you probably already know about it. It was said to be a very powerful time. There would be some people that I would know in everyday life that would look right over it and just say, "Oh, that's stupid. That's stupid. I don't believe that's dumb. That's dumb. That's stupid." It would take somebody, might even say it just like this, would take somebody like Sherry to believe in something like that. I could hear people that I know saying that now. And see, that's why I don't tell everybody, because I don't want people taken away from something that I enjoy. If you ended up here, you're here because you enjoy it as well. But with that being said, I want to quickly say that 11:11, I just saw the angel number 11:11. You most likely already know that there was a portal that was said to be open on the 11th month, 11th day. So we had the portal, and now I just saw the number 11:11. So being that I am talking about a phone, I want you, everybody, we are joined here as a collective. I want you to kind of think in your mind, close your eyes, think in your mind, think about a phone. Because I've been talking about a phone. Think about a beautiful phone. Imagine the phone that you have right in front of you right now. We all have phones, and we have these phones now. Okay, I want you to imagine somebody texting you or calling you with some very good news. Somebody calling you with some good news. Somebody telling you something good, something that you would love to hear. Somebody calling you, and it's Mercury retrograde, so I'm not going to say that I'm calling in like an ex, because it's so sad that during Mercury retrograde, things are going backwards, right? And it's said in the law of attraction community and in the spiritual community that during Mercury retrograde, there may be old exes that might be coming back into your life, and it's just because of the timing. Mercury is in retrograde, so things are going to be coming back around, and the idea is, what are you going to do? Are you going to fall for it? Like, are you going to take that ex back? Are you going to take that ex back? Or are you going to ex them out of your life for good? Now, I'm not telling you not to take them back. If you want to take them back, you want to take them back. But at the same time, think about that 11:11. It looks like two pillars. And if you put them in front of each other, it could, side by side, they look like two pillars. But if you take them and you set them, you take them and you set them one in front of the other, it might look a bit like a door. It might look a bit like a door if you use your imagination. You're walking from one door and into the next. Well, the idea with 11:11, the idea is kind of like the universe is bringing something back around to you. So that's why that ex may be calling you. Okay. So the idea is you're at this door. You can walk through the door. You're walking through the door. But the idea is, Are you going to look back and take something back from your past that wasn't working? It's Mercury retrograde. Are you going to look back? Now, somebody didn't come and knocked on the door, it's called, text you, whatever. It's Mercury retrograde. Are you going to open the door and let them walk with you, and go into this new phase? It's kind of like a reset. Or are you going to close that door? Say, hey, you know what? There's a reason why we broke up, and you know what? Good luck to you, but good riddance, right? You know what I mean? Good riddance. We're scripting and in writing out, what we want in our lives. So the idea is, are you going to shut the door on that, or are you going to move forward? And it's all up to you what you do. But it's so said that at this time during Mercury retrograde, it's like the universe is testing you. Like, this is a reset. This is a reset. Are you going to set yourself up for failure if you take this person back? Or have they really changed and then you can have something better and then you're moving forward together? Or it's the idea, it may be a test. Just, are you ready to move forward? Or are you going to jump right on back and go back with this old situation? That's the idea. So I just wanted to share that with you. I saw that 1111, but my idea is, with that phone, and you're looking at a phone that says ringing, I want you to quickly just imagine a phone ringing, your phone ringing, a text coming in, and it's something very, very positive, something that you are trying to call into your life. And you're thinking about it as in it's already done. It's already happened. That's the idea. So I wanted to share that with you. But again, I've said a lot about, I just wanted to say a couple of things about one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this particular idea tonight. And I was talking about, I've been talking about Marshawn Kneeland. Marshawn Kneeland. He was a 24-year-old football player who took his life, right? He committed suicide by means of it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound, right? Self-inflicted. This is the way he took his life. And I wanted to talk about it because I was, again, you're looking at, it says phone ringing. I felt called to make the video about this young man. And the thing about it is, before you know it, we'll be on it. It'll be last week's newspaper. If you want to think about a newspaper, it'll be last week's newspaper. It will be last week's headline. It will be last week's, what in the news, whatever. And then, of course, with the news, there's always these negative things. Things are always, we live in a world of duality. There's going to be good things that are going to be happening. But then if a lot of times with the news, it's negative stuff, right? And, that was something that happened on, November the 5th. Very, very sad. And I felt called to make this video, because I was very, very saddened about it. And what I was saying is that I have been in different situations lately where I feel like there was one setting where I was in where somebody had actually said something about, and I'm just, being real and I'm venting. Somebody had actually come out and said something about there's people, and I think they were talking about me, because I think that maybe they had been kind of tipped off about my channel or told about my channel. And then maybe they listened, or somebody told them something about it. And I often talk about one of the reasons why I got into the law of attraction was because of the death of my mother. And then somebody actually come out and said something about, okay, then people want to go and say things like, oh, I lost somebody. I lost somebody. I lost somebody. And I can't lie, it hurt me when it was said, because it was said by somebody that I wouldn't have thought would say it. I know that they didn't mean harm, but it was all about just the idea of the type of channel that I have. But, this is just my channel. And see, that's why I didn't tell anybody about it. That's why I didn't tell anybody about it, because I knew that people would think the wrong thing. I never said I don't believe in God. I never said I don't believe in God. I believe in God, but I believe in, I think God wants us to be happy. And I believe in the God that is also in me. I really do believe that. And I don't think God wants me to be unhappy. And it was just said that I think that people have heard about my channel and then they think that I'm doing something evil because I talk about witchy things, right? I like witchy movies. I like herbs. I like I like the elements of nature. I work with the elements of nature, the phases of the moon, the sun, all that different stuff. I work with it, but it's out there for you to work with, you know, and there are laws to the universe. So that's my idea. And I just kind of feel like there's some people they would hear about it and they would get the wrong idea, and see that let me know that that's exactly what happened. And that's why I didn't tell anybody about my channel, because I didn't want it to be taken out of context or for people to think that I'm actually trying to to do something negative, like I would hex somebody or something. Anybody that knows me should know better than that. I've said it again. I'm going to say it again. I've said it on my channel that if I could have an army, it would be an army of harmony if I could make it that way. But again, that's not the world we live in. And I think I've always been that type of person where I've always tried to be nice. And I've gotten to a point in my life where I've gotten to the point where I'm sick of being the nice guy or the nice girl, whatever. And I know there's people on here that are here in the live, whatever, that probably feel the same way. The nice guy finishes last. It gets to a point where people know that you're so nice, and I'm not saying that I'm not nice, but people mistake kindness for weakness, and they see somebody that's nice, and it's someone to take advantage of. And I'm at the point in my life where I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy my life, and I want to live my authentic life. I want to live my life the way I want to live it. And I think about this young man who took his life. And for me, I got into the law of attraction when my mother passed. And for me, I had to do something to move on. I had to do something to move forward. I knew, as sad as I was, that my mother, I've said it here on my channel, there were times really that I got suicidal. I miss my mom just that much. And there was somebody who recently had said, oh, well, some people, they go and they get all upset. They get all upset because they lost somebody. Oh, I'm crying because you lost somebody. And then, they come out and they said, we've all lost somebody. And then when I saw this story about Marshawn, that's when I was very, very touched by it, because I'm like, here, people want to think that it's something that's so easy to get over. Okay. We all deal with our pain in different ways. Okay. And obviously this was a young man who had his whole life in front of him, had, good times to celebrate. Who knows what else would have been been down the line for him, what more he could have brought to the football team. But there was something so deep in him, something he felt like in this moment, he couldn't deal with it, and he took his own life. And to me, that touched me, and I felt called to make this video. Because I even though obviously I didn't know this young man. I don't know anything, I don't know him. But when I heard about the fact that he was struggling with the death of his mother, he was struggling with depression, I've been there. And as much as I want to come out and say things like, okay, I'm looking at him and I'm thinking of a young 24-year-old man, and I'm thinking about, okay, I'm at the age I'm at. I haven't said my age because, whatever. I'm not saying I'm old, but I'm not saying that I'm 24, right? I would love to get 24 back, right? But then I got to think about it my own self, and I got to think about the things that I went through at 24. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at 24. We all want to look at things and think, okay, well, you want to look at somebody and think that they've got everything going for them. You look at them, you think, oh man, they're so lucky. They've got this, they've got that. You don't know what anybody's going through. But just when I heard about Marshawn, him being 24, and the fact that he took his life, he's a successful football player. And then how he took his life, the way that he took his life in a porta potty, like he was throwing his life away, like it was, I'm sorry, saying his life was crap. Like, what was this young man thinking? And I'm thinking about myself, and I'm thinking about the sadness that I experienced when my mom was ill, and she's in pain and different things, and there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do when I'm sitting here watching her go through these terrible things. And if I could tell you some of the things that I saw my mom go through, um, I think anybody would be hurt to see their loved one go through that. It was terrible. And then somebody just comes out and just I'm sitting in a setting and somebody just comes out and says, "Oh," and then people want to cry and be talk about because you lost somebody. And I knew they were talking about me, and I knew that I really felt tipped off, not ticked off like pissed, but tipped off like they had been told about my channel and they got the wrong idea thinking that I'm going out doing mean things and I don't believe in God and oh, she's evil, or they should know better than that. Anybody that knows me should know better. And I thought about this young man when I heard about his death. I heard about his mother, that she had died, and the fact that this was a single mother. They went through this struggle together, and then when he finally reaches success, this person, his mother that he loved so much, that was with him during the struggle, he reaches success. He looks over and she's not there. She's gone. She's in the graveyard. Okay. Or, well, the some of the, he had a necklace where there were some of his, remains of her remains he had in the necklace that he wore around his neck. Right. And, when I heard about this, I saw this in the news, it was everywhere. I was just very, very saddened by it. And I wanted to do a live about it, see what other people felt about it, and just to tell anybody that if you feel like you need to go and to get help, professional help, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Now, for me, I've said a lot of times here on my channel that I deal with depression. And when I was young, I can remember being that age, 24, and going through a lot of depression. And then again, when my mother passed, I went through a lot of depression again, just like this young man. And again, I was sitting in this setting and somebody just come out and said, okay, and I really do feel like it's because maybe they had heard some of my channel. They've heard me on my channel. And again, that's one of the reasons why I didn't tell everybody about it. Like if you found this, you found it for a reason. It's because we have something in common. I don't advertise about my channel to anybody that I know, blood relatives, I just don't do it because I want people to come here because we have something in common. We have some kind of a shared experience, and we're talking about those experiences. We can feel comfortable to talk about those experiences without being judged. We can talk about it and relate and say, okay, you know what? I went through that too. I know other people might say that you're crazy or that this couldn't happen, but no, it happened to me too. Let's talk about it. It's a discussion, and it's not about judging anybody or anything like that. And again, I'm thinking about this young man and just the pressure that he must have felt. You would look at him and think he's got everything going for him, but obviously there was a lot of pressure there. And then he just doesn't even have his mother to call anymore. And I went through that. And I remember the way I felt when my mom first died. My mom was like, she meant, your mom obviously, is your mother, but my mother was she was more than just my mother. Like, she was my friend. There would be people that would say things like, oh, I know you probably get, your mom's living with you now, because, it was myself and my grandmother that took care of my mom. And I had a friend who had come out one time and she's like, I know your mom's getting on your nerves sometimes. She's living with you again. I know you want a break. You can come and hang out with me. And I'm like, yeah, thank you for the invitation. When I can come over, I will. But maybe you and your mom, and it wasn't being mean, but I was just telling her, yeah, I'll come and hang out with you. We can, do whatever and, hang out or whatever. But I was just letting her know that no, I actually love having my mom live with me because I was getting time with her. Um, that there's some time that I didn't have with my mom, and when she got sick, and I helped to take care of her and all that. I got to spend quality time with her, and I was just so saddened that it had to be that way for us to spend that time, but that's the way it worked. And it was very, very hard, but we had good times too. We laughed, we cried. Um, it was everything. It was everything, and it was very, very hard. But I had to let this friend of mine know. I'm like, no, I'll come and hang out with you, whatever. But I know I love having my mom live with me. Maybe I'm just a mama's girl, whatever. But that's just what it is. If that's what I am, if that's what I was, that's what I was, and that's what I am. Um, I was a mama's girl. I'm a grandma's girl. My grandma's still living, and I do a lot for my grandmother. And see, the one thing that I know is my mother. That would make my mother very, very happy to know that I am taking care of her mother. So that makes me very, very happy. And yeah, I loved having my mom live with me. It's just the way it was. Some people might look at a man and say, "Oh, if he's a mama's boy." It's a terrible thing. And yeah, you got to kind of watch that. You don't want somebody that's totally babied or whatever. But at the same time, if a man has a respect and loves like the women in his family, you have, I had a family member tell me that. She's just like, when you meet a man, if he has respect for his mother, he tries to do things for his mother, he loves his mother. He's grown, but he loves his mother. He looks out for his mother. He forgot about who raised him. He loves his sisters. If he's got sisters and he looks out for his sisters, and you got a good man. And it's not to say that you don't want somebody that's like, grown and like sucking their thumb. You get what I'm saying? But you want somebody that has a respect for women. And if a man loves the women in his family, he's going to have some love for you. He respects women. That's the way I look at it. And maybe some people, I do say that, I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. Shadow work, I've heard it has a lot to do with your inner child. And yes, I'm dealing with that. I have shadow work to do, but that's just what I got to work with. But I just felt called to make this video again, or to do this live again, because I wanted to see what other people felt about that. And I wanted to vent a little bit about, again, one of the reasons why I got into spirituality. My mom died fairly young. She didn't live to be some ripe, to a ripe old age. And I look at her life, and she didn't have an easy life. She didn't have an easy life. Sometimes I wonder maybe if she had gotten maybe a little bit into the law of attraction, if it would have made her life a little bit better. Um, I've just seen a lot of family members, and I think some people have looked at it in the wrong way. Maybe I've said different things. Like one time I said something in a video about, like, I have family members. I come from the type of family where they're happy with just anything. Like, I'll say it like, and who I was mainly talking about was my grandmother. And it may be that other people in my family heard and took it the wrong way. I didn't mean it like that, but I had said something about, okay, I come from the type of family where, um, I don't come from a rich family, and I don't come from a rich background, right? And I come from the type of, like, my grandmother was, raised a hard way, and she's just happy with just the slightest things. And sometimes I look at her and I'm like, Grandma, there's nothing wrong with you, of course, like in a bologna and cheese sandwich, right? I like a bologna and cheese sandwich, but there's nothing wrong with you admitting, okay, yeah, this bologna and cheese sandwich is good. This bologna sandwich is good. Obviously, we got to be thankful. That's a part of the law of attraction, being thankful, showing gratitude for what you already have. But there's also nothing wrong with admitting, okay, I like a steak too. And maybe the steak is a little bit better than this bologna and cheese sandwich. We're thankful, but there's nothing wrong with saying, oh, this bologna is so good. Yeah, it's good, but there's nothing wrong with trying something new, and maybe this is more expensive and you enjoyed that. That's all I'm saying. Because I did say one time, and maybe that was what was taken the wrong way when I said I come from the type of family where um they are happy with a bologna and cheese sandwich, or they're happy with this bologna sandwich. This bologna sandwich is so good. I hope no one got offended, because I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying that there's other things out there that maybe there's nothing wrong with you enjoying this. You are good enough to have this. If you can get this, you can afford this, and you have gotten to the point where you can afford better. Why not enjoy it? You came from hard times. Yes, we come from hard times, but there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I deserve this. I deserve this. I've worked hard. I deserve this. I deserve to have this nice bed to sleep in. I deserve, and I shouldn't say bed. I don't know. I deserve. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said a bed. Anything. I deserve. I don't know. Maybe some people I hear about like the Sleep Number beds. Well, if you can get it, if you can get that, hey, what's wrong with that? Okay. There's nothing. I've worked hard. There's nothing wrong with me treating myself to this expensive thing. Yes, I show gratitude and I'm thankful for that I have this. Obviously, with the food stamp thing and all the stuff that we've got, people are going through hard times right now. But there's nothing wrong if you can afford this and you can enjoy it. What's wrong with that? I don't think God would be mad at you because you said, hey, you know what? I want this. What's wrong with it? That's all I'm saying. That's all I meant. And I think some people may have taken that the wrong way, and I'm sorry if they felt that way, and I apologize. But at the same time, this is the reason why I came out with my channel. And again, I was in a setting where somebody just kind of come out and said, okay, well, come out and said, well, we all lose somebody, and then people say that they've lost somebody, and I have a feeling it was because they had been tipped off, or they had watched my channel and they heard me say things that, like, I got into the law of attraction and maybe a little bit of witchcraft. Some people consider the law of attraction to be witchcraft, and I've said it here on my channel. When I talk about witchcraft, it's which way do you want to go? Do you choose to think positive and walk a positive path and think about, okay, I woke up this morning, what good could happen to me today? Or are you going to be pessimistic all day and be like, oh my gosh, I feel like this is going to happen today, and to not be excited about your life, that the creator, if you want to call him God, you want to call it God, you want to call the creator, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, you woke up this morning. To me, that's magical. It's a wonderful thing, and it can be a wonderful life. But again, it's a world of duality, and that's one of the reasons why I got into the law of attraction, because I wanted to the negative stuff. If there's a way that I can change it and transmute it into the positive, and I can live a better life, I'm all for it. That's what I'm about. That's what my channel's about. And that's why I don't advertise to everybody, because I know that there's going to be people that's going to take it the wrong way. And again, I was just in a setting where somebody just come out and said it, and I was hurt. I felt singled out. And I often say on my channel that, you may, if this has popped up on your For You page, this is popped up in your algorithm, you may feel like you're a bit of a misfit. I've always kind of felt like in life, like I was a misfit, whether, to say, I've kind of feel like I've been the black sheep in my family, right? I'm just being honest. I don't fit in everywhere I go, but that's one of the reasons why I started my channel. I started my channel to fit in somewhere, and I wanted to let make other people that may feel like they're a misfit, maybe they may feel like they're the black sheep in the family, whatever. I want to make those people feel good. I want to light a candle, light the path for them, and we do this thing together. We're lighting the path, and we're making a way. We're making a way, and we're seeing each other through this life. Because again, if I'm talking about making a video about a young man, 24 years old, who is a successful football player, has the rest of his life to go through, get to live, and and he's taking his own life, okay, a suicide, then obviously we know that the world that we live in, it can be a tough place. It can be a tough place, and it is a world of duality, right? And when I heard about this young man, the colors you're looking at right now are, me thinking of him. You see blue, and you see it's like a silver color. That stands for the the Cowboys, and that's the team that he played for. You see the white. For me, that kind of sounds they're what, fake rose petals, but they're those are basically standing for flowers. Unfortunately, oftentimes when it's ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and a lot of times at funerals, the pastor will place roses, on top of the casket, and the idea is ashes to ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? And then you might think, when in God we trust. Whatever you think, we all think different things, and I'm not here to tell you what you believe in, but I think different people have heard about my channel and they take it the wrong way. I do believe in God, but I'm not here to tell anybody else what they're supposed to believe in, because we all got to make it. And I kind of wonder, if for myself, after my mom died, I had to find a way to go on. I had to find a way to live on. And at that point, I felt so alone, felt very, very, very alone. And there were people that were there for me, but then, there was that thing where you have to go after the funeral, you have to leave the funeral home, you have to go home, you have to shut the door, and then you've got to deal with that pain. And for me, it was very, very hard. And obviously this young man was talking about it, so it was hard for him. And I'm not going to say that that's the reason why he did it, but I feel like if his mother had been here, maybe she could have been there and maybe talked him through it and said, what are you feeling? What are you going through? Please, let's get you some help, because I'm your mom. And if you do something like that, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be the one dealing with the pain, not you. You'll be gone, but I'm going to be here dealing with that pain. So let's get you some help and figure out what's going on. Right? He didn't have his mom here to do that. Yeah, I was the same way when I was dealing with depression. I didn't have my mom to help me deal with my depression anymore. I had to face it myself. So, yes, I did. I have said here on my channel that I got into spirituality. I had to do something to move on, because my mom didn't want me to take my life. That's what I felt like doing. That's how bad I felt, because I felt like there was too many things being taken from my pot that I felt was already empty. I didn't have a lot going on in my life, and I'm only being real. And here I was kind of mad at God, really. I'm like, God, why did you take from my pot? Like, you took from my pot. That's the way I felt. You took from my pot, and there wasn't a whole lot in my pot at that time. And I'm just like, then there's somebody else, and not trying to put bad luck on anybody else, but I'm like, man, this is hard for me to deal with. This is a lot for me to deal with. And then again, after my mom passed, I got out of spirituality because I got down in the dumps, and I experienced this terrible, went deeper into depression. And just like Marshawn, he went through with it. I had thought about it at one point because I was so sad. I didn't know what to do with the sadness. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to feel the sadness. And, yeah, I was suicidal. I'm sharing that here on my channel. I'm only being honest. The pain was that deep because I felt like there wasn't a lot in my pot. And then now I know we in life, the normal way you would think that the parents go before the child, right? But and you're supposed to think, okay, well, that's usually the way that it happens. The older your mom or your dad's older, So they go, and you have to accept that, and then you have to go on with your life. But at that point, I didn't have a whole lot that I was happy about in my life, and I had to deal with that. And you come home from that funeral, and there you are, and you've got to deal with that pain and process it. And obviously, this young man, there was something that he had on him that he couldn't deal with. People always say, God's not going to put on you put on anything on you that you can't handle. And for me, I don't think that's necessarily true. Now, guys, I may go ahead and continue this some other time. Obviously, it's getting late, and we have things that we have to do. But I felt very, very called to make this video, to do this live. I just felt like it needed to be. There were things I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this. Obviously this is real life. This is stuff that goes on. This is stuff that happens. And, I think that this is definitely, it's a world of duality. And as much as I want to, always look at the upside of life and think of everything, be happy and all that different stuff. Again, I'll say it's a world of duality, and there's going to be things that you do have to go through in life. And obviously this young man, this was something he couldn't take. But people will so easily say that, just get over something. Just get over something. We all go through things. We do. But not everybody adjusts in the same way. Not everybody bounces back as fast as somebody else. And things, there are going to be some things that are going to hurt one person more than they would hurt another. Right? Okay, death is something we all experience, but there's some things you feel like you can't carry this. There's sometimes you feel like, man, this is getting so heavy for me. This is a lot for me to carry on my shoulders. And obviously this young man felt that. And I felt it when I heard about it. I felt it because I went through that. And I just wanted to, before this was something that was kind of, leaving the headlines and all that, because guys, you notice that it wasn't too long ago. We have had other stories, other deaths that were, all that you were hearing about. The last one I can think about was Malcolm Jamal Warner. He's he is the young man, he played Theo Huxtable on the Cosby Show. Okay. Malcolm Jamal Warner. And, obviously he didn't take his own life. It, was a drowning. Okay. But, that was all everybody, that was big. Everybody was talking about that. And then, death is something that happens all the time. It doesn't take a holiday. Death happens every day. And it doesn't take a holiday. It's not worried about holiday. I've heard people that have died on their birthday, right? It's a world of duality. And I just wanted to take some time before this left the headlines and it left the news and all that. I felt called to make this video, to do this live, because again, you think it's you look at certain people and you think that they are happy. You think everything is, everything's going right for them. And my idea is to let you know that you never know what's going on in someone's life or what's going on in somebody's mind. And if somebody is suffering, with depression or something like that, want someone that's suffering through depression or something like that, there's nothing wrong with seeking help. For me, I'm not the biggest on, doctors, but yeah, I've been on antidepressants, and I'm not going to say that that's the wrong way to go. It's whatever is going to help you with it, so that you don't end up like this young man ended up. You don't end up like this young man ended up. When people always want to say just jump back. Just jump back. You'll be okay. Everything's okay. And, saying that, it's just something that happens in life. You can just get over, or if somebody is suffering and someone that's suffering and you love this person, they need someone to talk to. There's nothing, be that person. Let them know you can come and talk to me. before they go and do something like this. Before they go do something like this. And again, I felt called to make this video because it was in the news how he had lost his mother. And again, there was, single mother going through the struggle. Then he reaches success, and then he looks over and she's gone. He wants to celebrate with his mother. There have been so many young men that have been struggled and stuff like that. Single moms, different things like that. Mom and dad even in the picture. And then you get out of the projects or get out from this hard, way of being, growing up and whatever. And then you reach success. And there are lots of young men that say, man, I'm going to go and buy my mom a new car. I'm going to get her this house that she never thought she would be able to live in. She's going to live in. I want to get my mom a house. Right? This young man made it. And he may have wanted to do that. And his mom's gone. I just wanted to address it. And before it left, before this was something, I'm not going to say swept under the rug. It's just the idea that, again, this is a world of duality. And there's always different things going on. Every day there's always something new happening, Again, I had mentioned Malcolm Jerome Warner. That didn't happen too long ago. I'll never forget, it was about 2 years ago, maybe about a year. I'm going to say about 2 years ago. You guys remember what was his name? Twitch? Young, I think he may have been about 41 years old. And he was a part of the Ellen DeGeneres show. You guys, Mercury retrograde, guys, and it's getting late. But Ellen DeGeneres show. I remember seeing him on the show. Very talented, could move, the dance moves, everything, so talented. And then when I heard about how he committed suicide, I'm like, what? That guy? I'd seen him on the show. He always looked so happy. Like, what happened? He had everything to live for. Beautiful wife, beautiful family, children, everything. The American dream. I don't know what was going on in the show. There were things that popped up about that, but the idea is you never know what somebody's carrying, right? You never know what somebody's carrying. And if you know someone that is close to you, they're, dealing with some depression and stuff like that. We don't want to, I don't like hearing about stories like this. I really don't. Like this was sad and it touched me. And guys, I just felt called to make this video. And again, I just felt called to make the video. And that's why you see that if you're watching in my videos, you see that you already know that I sometimes have a way in writing things out in a different way. I could have made this more neat, made it, look better. It looks like a puzzle. I could have made it prettier and everything, I guess. But I wanted to make this video, do this live before this wasn't, is active in the news. And, before you know it, there will be something else, some other tragedy or something, because that's the type of world we live in. It's a world of duality. And at the same time, that's why I made my channels, because while I'm here, I want to be happy, and I want to live a happy life. And that's, again, I've often said, I'm going to say it again before I shut this live down. It was my spirituality. I've never said I don't believe in God. I think that there have been people that watch my channel and they think that I'm trying to do something evil or promote evil. There's going to be times, yes, I'm going to be talking about things. I'm right now, I'm reading a book by Shira Seven. You may already know who she is. Because I want to know what's out here. I want to know. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of everything on my channel, right? So, I'm going to be deep diving and looking into different things. But it's not about trying to spread evil. It's trying to spread knowledge. That's what I'm about. There's lots of things to learn out here. And that's what my channel's about. But with me, spirituality, I believe in God, but at the same time, after my mom died, I had to find a light somewhere. It was a dark time. And I said it, even COVID-19, things like that, something that was here for me. I enjoyed, there were different people that I followed. And every time I would look at them, it would be an inspiration. I have people like that I follow now. They're inspiration. Like I could be so down and upset, and then I go and watch one of their videos, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, I'm all right. I'm all right. And you know what? If I can sometime be that for you, that's what I want to be. That's what my channel's about. I'm going to be talking about, duality is a world of duality. I'm going to be talking about some negative things, but we want to transmute it. That's the idea. That's what my channel's about. If I can be a light for you, that's what I want to be. My idea is every time you choose to like, click, share, subscribe, my idea is I'm trying to be a light for you, light a path for you. And whenever you choose to like, click, share, and subscribe, those different things, leave a comment, you are letting me know that I've lit a fire in you, to live your best life. If you were having a bad day and you got on and I made you laugh or I made you feel better, that's what I want to do, right? If somebody could have got there and been there for that young man, we would be able to see him on the field doing his thing, playing, for the Cowboys. He had more to bring. And there was something that was so deep in him that he took his own life. And to me, that's so sad. But see, I've been there. I know what depression is. I deal with depression. But again, if I can light a path for you, if you're feeling down or you need some kind of encouragement, there's people I watch on TikTok, YouTube. They light a little bit of something in me, and I'm like, man, I was so down. I listen to her, and man, instantly I feel better. It's like magic, and that's what I want to do for you. Share the good times, the bad times, all that, and rise together. Right? That's my idea. Sunset songs. The moon comes out. There's good stuff with the moon. But I'm going to tell you, there is a card in the tarot. It's called the Sun card, and I look at it as like the happiest card in the deck. Right? It's a happy card. There's a baby in the card. There's a sunflower, and it's the sun. You see a sun, and the idea is, and just like my channel, the sun, it always returns. It's always out there. It could be a cloudy day, but the sun is still out there. It comes up every day. It comes up every day. And there is a tarot card in the deck. It's the Sun tarot card. And my idea is sunset songs. Guys, and I want to quickly say this, and then I'm going to have to shut it down. I've been on here for a long time. Tonight I couldn't think of a sunset song. And I'm going to quickly say what a sunset song is. Obviously, I call my channel Sunset Songs, all about my personal journey with the law of attraction. Call it Sunset Songs. It is because I truly believe that music has a way in uplifting you. But if you just broke up with somebody just broke up with you, you want to feel sad and be open that feeling for a little bit, you can play a sad song. They're sad love songs. But my idea is to get back on the good foot and let's start thinking positive and get back on that good foot. But at the same time, my channel is called Sunset Songs. Why do I call it Sunset Songs? I love music. And I truly believe that music is magical. It can make you feel a certain type of way. It can uplift your spirits. If you want to feel energized, listen to an upbeat song and go work out. If that's what you're trying to do. You want to clean the house, play an upbeat song and go clean your house. You want to work out, play that upbeat song, go work out. If you want to unwind, well then play something that's going to calm you down and maybe drink a glass of wine, whatever. But music, I truly think it's magical. And what is a sunset song? A sunset song is, I call it a sunset song right before I go live or before I make a video for my channel, Sunset Songs. I basically ask my higher self, my spirit, whatever, give me a song, put a song in my mind, put a song in my heart, make a song play in my mind, put a song in my heart. And basically whatever subject matter that I am talking about, I'm planning to talk about within, in that, what I'll call episode of my channel, Sunset Songs. I'm asking my higher self, spirit, whatever, to give me a song that is tailored around whatever the subject matter it is that I'm going to be talking about for that episode. And I'm asking my higher self to give me a song that's tailored around whatever the subject matter is, whatever I might lay out different things in the video. What's going to make me, what puts me in mind of give me a song that puts me in mind of whatever it is that I'm talking about. I want it tailored around the subject matter. And then I call that the sunset song, and I let you guys know what the sunset song is. Being that this was a somber subject and video that, chat that I was doing, even though I felt called to do it. There's tons of sad songs, but I couldn't put it just didn't happen this time. So I just want to quickly say I'm about to shut down. I should have said in the beginning, guys, I want you to pick everybody, put a sunset song. Just think of a song that's playing in your heart right now and put it in the chat. I didn't do that because I had to get into what I was talking about. And I want to thank you all, anybody that joined me or anybody that has stayed with me for this long. Thank you so much, because I've been on here for a long time. And I'm about to close down. But please, on any of my videos here on TikTok or on my channel on YouTube, feel free to leave a song that is playing in your heart, or whatever you want to leave in my comments. Whatever you think about my channel, what you might want me to talk about, whatever. I just want to keep the fire lit, and feel free to leave it in whatever you have, a song that's playing in your heart, your favorite song that you don't like, and you just, I don't like this song. You want to leave it in on any of my videos and let me know what it is. Leave it there, and I'll go and take a listen to it. I like all different types of music, so don't think that any type of song, any kind of music, leave it, and I'll go and listen to it. And maybe one time you might come on and it might be the sunset song, or at least leave in the comments. If I look it up and I like it, I'll let you know, oh, I like the song, or I didn't like the song. And then most likely I'll discuss the song here on my channel. Okay, guys, so that's going to be it for this episode. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. So much. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm about to shut this down. I've kind of forgot how to do this, but I know it's not going to take me long to figure out how to do it. I may come back and talk a little bit more about this, but I don't know. I've talked about it for a long time. I don't want to stay on a somber subject for too long, because it's kind of like it's calling in the next sad thing, because it's going to happen. It's a world of duality, right? But we're going through all this together. That's my idea. My channel, Sunset Songs. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this live. This is Shadow Girl Sherry, and I am signing out. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and take care. I gotta figure out how to make this go off, guys. I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, trying to figure out how to. Oh, this is terrible, guys. This is terrible. I got to figure out, maybe if I touch it, I got to figure out how to end the live. At other times I've known how to do it, but oh boy, I don't want to. Where's it at? Oh, come on now. Trying to figure out, guys, and I should know this by now, how to end this. Hopefully, if I stop maybe if I stop talking. Is it this? There we are. Okay. I got it, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Everybody that joined me tonight. This is Shadow Girl Sherry, and I'm going to be ending this live now. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. And this is Shadow Girl Sherry signing out. I hope that you will choose to like, click, share, subscribe, and all that different stuff, because every time you do that, you push me further into the algorithm. And I so appreciate it, because I love doing this, and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much, and take care.